Hello everyone, this is Mahnur Ali and welcome to my channel Learn with Ease. In today's video, we are going to learn about the muscles of the pectoral region. The word pectoral region refers to the anterior region of thorax. Now, coming to the pectoral muscles basically include four muscles, which are the pectoralis major muscle, the pectoralis minor muscle, the subclavius, and the serratus anterior. The pectoralis major muscle is the largest muscle of the pectoral region. The pectoralis minor muscle is the key muscle of the pectoral region. The subclavius is situated below the clavicle, as the name suggests. And then you have the serratus anterior. The serratus anterior, as per its name, has a serrated appearance. Now, coming to the pectoralis major muscle, in the introductory part, 2 points are enough. That is, it is the largest muscle of the pectoral region and it is a fan-shaped muscle. However, before beginning with the muscles, it is better if you go through the bones clavicle, scapula and humerus once, because after you read these bones once, it becomes easier to understand the attachments of these muscles. Now, coming to the pectoralis major muscle. As I stated earlier, it is the largest muscle of the pectoral region. It is a fan-shaped muscle. Fan-shaped muscle. Now, coming to its origin, the pectoralis major muscle originates by two heads. The first head being the clavicular head. The clavicular head arises from the medial side of the anterior surface of medial 2/3 of the shaft of the clavicle, or simply from the anterior surface of medial 2/3 of shaft of clavicle. As seen here in the diagram, it arises from the medial side. It arises from the anterior surface of the medial 2/3 of the shaft of the clavicle. Now coming to the sternocostal head. The sternocostal head arises from the lateral part of the sternum up to the 6th costal cartilage, and from 2nd to 6th costal cartilages, as well as from the aponeurosis of the external oblique muscle. Now coming to its insertion. The insertion of pectoralis major muscle is onto the lateral lip of the vertical sulcus or the intertubercular sulcus or the bicipital groove. When we are reading humerus, we learn that the attachments of the bicipital groove are remembered with the help of a mnemonic, which is lady between two majors. It basically means that the lateral lip of the intertubercular sulcus provides attachment to the pectoralis major muscle. The medial lip provides attachment to the teres major muscle, and its floor provides attachment to the latissimus dorsi muscle. Now coming to its insertion. The insertion of the pectoralis major muscle is onto the lateral lip. We've already read this, but it is inserted in the form of a U-shaped bilaminar tendon. As the name suggests, it is a bilaminar tendon. Bilaminar in the sense it has two lamina, an anterior lamina and a posterior lamina. The anterior lamina is formed by the fibers arising from the clavicular head, and the posterior lamina is formed by the sternocostal and the aponeurotic fibers. An important point regarding the posterior lamina is that the fibers of the posterior lamina are inserted in such a way that the fibers present on the lowest part are attached to the highest point on the on the bicipital groove, and the fibers which are present on the highest part are attached to the lowermost part of the intertubercular sulcus. Now coming to its nerve supply, it's very easy to remember the nerve supply of pectoralis major and pectoralis minor, because both of these muscles are supplied by lateral and medial pectoral nerves. You will come across these nerves later in the brachial plexus. Coming to the actions of these muscles, the clavicular head performs flexion of the arm, whereas the sternocostal head performs abduction and medial rotation of the arm. It becomes very easy to understand the actions of a muscle if you remember the origin and insertion. About origin and insertion, it's very important to remember that in most of the muscles, the origin remains attached, that is, it remains immobile, whereas the movement occurs at the point of insertion. As in this case, the clavicular head, it originates from the clavicle. Therefore, the clavicle remains immobile. However, its insertion is onto the humerus. Therefore, whenever these clavicular fibers contract, they cause the flexion of arm. Coming to the sternocostal head, its origin is from the lateral side of the sternum, 2nd to 6th costal cartilages, as well as the external oblique muscle, and insertion is onto humerus. Therefore, whenever these muscles contract, it causes the medial rotation and the abduction of the arm. Now, here in the diagram, it's very important to note that in anatomy, drawing diagrams is very important. It's very, very, very important. Now, in this diagram here, you can see the manubrium sterni, the body of the sternum, the xiphi sternum, the clavicle, the 10 ribs, then you have your scapula, the coracoid process, the acromion process, the humerus. Now, coming to the pectoralis major muscle, origin, clavicular head, originates from the anterior surface of the medial 2/3 of shaft of clavicle. And then you have the sternocostal head, originates from the lateral side of the sternum up to 6th costal cartilages, 2nd to 6th costal cartilages, and as well as the aponeurosis of the external oblique muscle. Both of these heads are inserted onto the lateral lip of the intertubercular sulcus. That's it for today. Thank you.